Let's be for real, guys. I did not expect to see what I'm seeing right now on the screen in a million years. I did not think this would become a real fight. Something that would be announced officially by Dana White. I would never think that any time this year that Moicano has the chance to become a champion in 2025 going against Makhachev. But we are in a new time now. And we are in an era of the UFC where anything can fucking happen. I mean, we've seen a lot of fights get made and a lot of fights not get made. And we have these fights instead. Nobody thought Sean Strickland was going to win the championship belt off at Adesanya. No one thought that Bilal Muhammad would become a champion, period. And nobody thought Merab would destroy Sean O'Malley. But we're in a new time now, where now 2025 we have Makhachev versus Moicano, and let me tell you something. Brother. Okay, that's not Moicano, but close enough, right? Let me tell you something though. This is a fight that honestly intrigues me way more than Makhachev versus Sarukian. This is a fight that honestly kind of shakes things up a bit because we're so used to seeing the hype for a Makhachev versus Sarukian fight, and a lot of people were sleeping on Arman, and a lot of people were saying that Arman would get destroyed, but I was one of the few people who said that Arman could potentially beat Makhachev. But now that thing is out of the window. It's clear that Makhachev's getting an easy title defense here. And, I mean, let's just look at the stats here. Here's the thing. So, right now, in terms of the tail of the tape, I mean, they're both coming off wins. Moicano has the height advantage. He has the reach advantage, and he definitely has the leg advantage. So, he's coming there physically at an advantage against Makhachev. And this is such a weird fight. This is really such a weird fight, man. Like, why is this even happening? Like, Moicano was saying he wants to try to fight. He was hoping one of them got injured. It just so happened one of them got injured, and it's suspicious that he just somehow predicted that. We might need to investigate him for that. But we're here now, and I'm going to give my, detailed analysis on this. I want to say first and foremost that not every fight is on paper. There will always be different factors going into this fight. And for people to say that Makhachev would easily destroy Moicano is kind of true, but also kind of false. Because we have seen fighters who would easily destroy other fighters, but then they get beat or have a close fight with them. Makhachev was slated to destroy Dustin Poirier. Like, people were saying Dustin Poirier would get outmatched, outgunned. I was one of those people who was saying he was getting out-wrestled in that fight. And Dustin Poirier defended most of the takedowns. And we got Moicano here. Unlike Dustin, Moicano is actually doing really well. He's on a roll. He's on a good win streak. Yeah, I think he has the second longest win streak in lightweight, which is crazy. And right now, it seems to me that Moicano is just he's on a roll right now. He is on a roll right now. He recently battered BSD. He TKO'd Jalen Turner, and he beat Drew Dober. He's on a good few wins, and he's definitely made a name for himself. In my opinion, I thought he was gonna get a title fight maybe later this year. Like, if he did really good against Beneil Dariush and maybe got a top 5 fight, that could have put him in chance to get a title shot. But we're here now, and it's a weird fight for sure, because you would think that Makhachev would easily destroy this guy, but we've seen Makhachev kind of falter when it comes to opponents that he would easily destroy, And this is one thing about the MMA fight game, is that we never really know what's going to happen. We really never know. And I think for this case only, a lot of things can change. I think the odds are right now that Makhachev is a massive favorite, minus 1100, which is, it's crazy. Also, Merab is also less of an underdog now. I think it's because of the fact that people are starting to see that the odds keep changing. Jamal Hill is also is a good favorite now against Yuri Bukaska, which makes sense. And Merab is less of an underdog, and honestly, I think the fight should be closer. I think it should be plus 110 and minus 130 for Umar, but detracting from the point, Moicano is a plus 700 underdog going into this fight, and this makes absolute sense. I am not going to debate these odds. Just for the reason being that Islam Makhachev is really that guy. He is him. And he defeated Charles Oliveira in his prime. He defeated Folk in his prime. He's proven himself to be the best of the best in caliber. But based on that Dustin Poirier fight, he came in there with a staph infection, which makes sense. But even then, it's like to go life and death with a washed Dustin Poirier, who was 35, coming off a BSD win. It's just like it's just weird, It's just weird. I'm not saying that Islam's losing his edge or he's like getting worse, but it's just like we're kind of saying that like maybe if we give him like a legitimate lightweight contender, he could win. He could definitely win. Like he could definitely win against Islam Makhachev, and I'm not counting Moicano out in this fight. He has nothing to lose. He seems very happy getting this title shot. He's always wanted this title shot. He knows something we don't. And I think Moicano is definitely a dangerous guy just because I don't think Makhachev is going to destroy him. I don't think he is going to easily roll over him like the odds suggest he is. It's not going to be an easy fight for Islam. I think this is going to be same how the Khalil Roundtree versus Alex Pereira fight went. I think Moicano's just going to come there with an extra bravado. I think he's going to go there and give him a fight. Do I think Islam's going to win? Yes, obviously. Just because I think Islam's wrestling and the wrestling is just going to overwhelm Moicano. Moicano was getting wrestled the hell out of him and beat by RDA. I just think that Moicano kind of has that weakness when it comes to wrestling. And in that case, I just think Islam's wrestling is just so much better. And he's a lot stronger than Moicano. Moicano's a former featherweight. When it comes to former featherweights, Islam is very much a lightweight. And he could very much be a good welterweight as well. So he's a strong guy. Very strong guy. Point that against Moicano, was a former featherweight. And honestly was perfect for featherweight, in my opinion. I just think that Moicano is kind of going to get overpowered by Makhachev, but I don't think he's going to get destroyed. Just because I think Moicano's going to put up a fight. I think on the feet, he's going to definitely do a lot better than a lot of people give him credit for. Just because of the way he kind of just assembled BSD. A lot of people were thinking BSD was going to destroy him. And Moicano just evolved, and he got a lot better when it came to his grappling, his striking. And let's just face it, I just think that it's nice to see someone like Moicano kind of get the championship, Like, to defy all odds, a Rocky story, Some likable guy defeating the big bad when it comes to that. I'm not calling Islam a big bad or an evil guy, but it just makes sense. But we're going to go over, like, realistic, if I'm going to pick a fight I'm going to go with Islam. But before I said it was going to be by early finish, and I very much think that could still happen. I just think Islam's going to win, maybe like by TKO. I'd say like round 3-4 TKO. I think Moicano's going to put up a fight. In the first 2 rounds for sure, I think he's going to put up a fight. I think he's going to be on par on the feet. I think he's going to try to defend the takedowns. I mean, he was preparing against Dariush, who stylistically he's very similar to Islam. Maybe not as good as Islam, but stylistically, Dariush is a very good grappler, very well-rounded guy. He has wrestling, grappling, striking. And before the Charles Oliveira fight, Dariush was seen as a guy who could probably defeat Islam Makhachev. So, I think Moicano's definitely very prepared for this fight, in my opinion. One day's notice, jumping from Beneil Dariush to Islam Makhachev is a very big jump when it comes to skill. But I just think that Moicano's going to put up a huge fight. I think he's going to do really well. And we'll see. I mean, this is just a short video. I was only going to do predictions for one fight. I have Islam Makhachev by probably late TKO, round 4. I'm going to go with that. TKO, round 4. I think he's just going to overwhelm Moicano with the wrestling. I think Moicano's going to put up a fight. But I think Islam's just going to get control of him and just land that ground and pound. The same thing he did with Bobby Green. I think he's just going to overwhelm him. Moicano's been very vulnerable when it comes to that. So I think it's going to be a competitive fight. I don't think it's going to be a close fight. I think Islam's going to be dominating. And I think Moicano's going to put up a fight to where he can last a few rounds. But I think Islam's going to eventually overwhelm him and get a TKO. But you know what? Prove me wrong. I have seen people at worse odds become the winner. So we'll see. Maybe Moicano's gonna channel his Strickland energy and just win for no fucking reason. So we'll see. Also, it just opens up, like, people were asking about Islam having a potential injury. I don't think he does, just because based on the picture I see of him, I don't. He looks perfectly healthy. But who knows? Who knows? I guess we'll find out tomorrow. We'll find out Saturday. Anyways, see you at UFC 311.